Well, good evening. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening as we're here now on Wednesday, the 29th of October. It's hard to believe I'm saying that already. Going into November 2025, about 6:40 p.m. So the Fed did what the market thought it would do. It cut interest rates by 25 basis points, no surprise there. And the Fed did what I thought it would do. It took off the table a guarantee that December is going to be another rate cut. That's what they should have done. It's what was expected by me. Why? They don't have data. If you don't have data, you can't make that decision right now. When you read in the press, oh, it was a split Fed. What's so split? You had one member, Moran, going, he wants 50 basis points. He's the Trump appointee. You know he's going to do that. You had Schmidt saying, we don't have to cut rates right now. The market's fine where it's at. And everybody else was there for the 25 basis points. That's a split in the Fed. That's what the press wants you to believe. It's not the reality of the situation. What the reality is we've got to get the data flowing again. We're in day, approaching 30 of the government shutdown. I think 35 is the longest we've recently had. Maybe it's the history of it. I don't know. But it's time to get more and more done. The other event tonight that you'll wake up and the markets are going to go with will be the meeting that happens in a few hours from when I'm recording this of Presidents Xi and Trump meeting and doing something. Let's give China credit. Before the meeting even happened, you knew that on the table, the president was going to ask for farmers in the U.S. that China buy some cargoes of soybeans. They did. They bought 3 without the meeting even happening. Now, what can we give China to start helping them so this whole thing tames down again? It's not we're going to be buddies. It's not that our economies run the same way. China's not going to stop supporting state-run companies operating at losses to get done in world trade. Forget that. But it's how you go about doing it that is going to be the key. And it's how you tame down this crazy situation that is going to be the key. So tonight, if you think that you're comfortable trading, that's great. I'd be very uncomfortable. I don't know how this meeting is going to go between the two. I have my fingers crossed on both hands that it's really good and it's a breakthrough and a true breakthrough, not just the words. Don't read the Chinese press. Don't read the American press. Or read places that cover it outside of the two without the propaganda that we get both in the U.S. and that they're going to get in China about how this won and who won what. Nobody wins. How do we get this thing tamed down so world trade gets back to going the proper way, whatever proper means? That's my viewpoint. So be careful. I'm going to repeat again. Tonight's meeting's way more than what the Fed did. That's how I'm viewing it. All right. Did you get my newsletter? I covered all the highlights in it tonight of what Fed Chair Powell said, why he said different things, where we're at. I'll let that go at that point. Energy markets breaking a little bit. Bonds and notes, you put some premium back in. Why not? The Fed chair came right out and said, no, December is not a given. That interest rate cut is going to happen. So you went from about an 85% probability on the CME Fed Watch page to about a 65%. When you take a look at foreign currencies, they're mixed. They're waiting to see how tonight's meeting goes. That's the logic of what you should do. But if you look at the S&P and the game ended right now, right this minute, you'd be at a new all-time high on a closing basis chart, up another 1.3%. Don't forget that. You can see how the markets come up, but there's a problem in the S&P. If you dive into it and you start looking at 50-week, 50-day moving averages and how many of the 500 stocks are above or below them, you see that it is not a one-sided event by any stretch of the imagination. If AI were to stumble, this market would come apart very quickly. I am not thinking it's going to stumble. We had today earnings come out of Google, Meta. There was one other company that was in there. The big boys are all doing what they do. You'll be up, you'll be down. But overall, there's a lot of spending going on. It was Microsoft that was the other one. I'm doing this all from memory. And I don't see problems, not at all. Doesn't matter to me that their CapEx spending's $1 billion more, $1 billion less than it was. No, not when you're dealing in these crazy numbers. When you look at how the market's running, does anything there to you at this point look bearish? If it does, I don't know what chart you're reading. Yes, there's some indicators that might be overbought, oversold, but overall you're at a new all-time high. You're over all the key moving averages, the 18, the 100, the 200-day average, but you are bucking against the upper Bollinger Band. You only stay over that number 5% of the time. So if you want to buy into that and play that it's just going to keep going, that's fine. It's one thing to buy it under it. Buying over it, I let somebody else want to do that. And you're embedding. So now this market is telling me that in the morning when I get up and then I take a look, I will have certain ways that I look at the market. Does it take out today's highs or not? Do we get a break? And nibbling on the long side is what I think is going to be done by me in terms of recommendations. Same into the NASDAQ. It's got to be a certain way, but that's my game plan at this point. The Dow, not quite there. It's trying to embed. So did it accomplish it? Let's do this together and see if we can figure that out. If you've taken my course, you know that you have to be here. It's not going to go another day. I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. It's sometimes this control device. But if it's embedded, fine. The one I don't want to see you buying is the Russell at this point. It's the weakest of the indices. You see that on the chart. You don't buy the weakest thinking, oh, it's going to catch up. In bull markets, you buy the strongest. I watch people and over and over and over, and I've seen this my whole career, which is 6 decades now. It's hard to believe. And I did it all wrong. So you're not dealing with a guy that did everything right. I'm the original Mr. Swiss cheese. I've done everything probably wrong at some point in my career. But you learn that in bull markets, you buy the markets that are leading the market. All right, it's that simple. The people that are trying to buy the Russell and going, oh yeah, look at Ira, you're so wrong. It finally came up. The others ran away. This just went up and made a higher high. Very big difference what's going on there. In the DAX, you couldn't hold that challenge of the 18-day average. You rallied to it. We talked about it. I said it was a bear market rally so far. It had to prove it can close over that. It not only didn't do that, it came through these lows right into the lower Bollinger Band for some support. So you pulled the plug on that as well. When we come to the 10-year notes, well, as soon as the Fed says, hey, that December number, don't you dare bet that it's a guarantee and a given by us. Kaboom, you're going to add yield right back into the markets all the way through, and it's what you did. Look where you fought the battle, the 18-day average. Look where you fought the battle for 3 days, the 18-day average. I teach that to you over and over. If you haven't taken my charting course, and I'm not hawking it, you should. It's great basics for those of you that want to be chartists. Take the name off the chart. Don't have a predetermined idea. Learn the patterns and learn the probabilities of the patterns. Let's get through here now into where I wanted to be, which takes us to the dollar index. I wouldn't be surprised if you want to go up and challenge the upper Bollinger Band. Why not? It keeps failing at that number. You can get there again. Would I tell you to go out and pick a top and get bearisher? Why? You're over the 18-day average. The pattern's higher lows, higher highs, and momentum's still pointing up. In the euro, it's the flip-flop. You went for 3 days, 4 days, and fought at the 18-day average, that line in the sand, as I call it, and the market caved in after the Fed made its statement. Maybe you go to the lower Bollinger Band again. Aussie dollar. All I was looking for, and I've said this in my reports, was to get to that upper Bollinger Band, and that should be the resistance point off this thrust. I don't know where it's going next. I know that I think the smart money's coming out of it for the moment. Remember, it got a nice bid with the U.S. saying it wants the rare earths with Australia. It wants to get closer with them. That helped that market. Bitcoin is still not acting like a market that wants to go to the upside. It is having trouble at the combination of the green, which is the 100-day average, and the red, the 18. It's been a bear market rally. That's all that's failing right here. Let's see what the next move comes out of it. Last, you get into the energies, and we got up to the 100-day average in green, pulled back to the 18 today, and sort of holding. Are you trending? No. You ended a downtrend. You had a big reaction, but you haven't begun a new trend. Is the momentum? No, I don't see anything there. I see the same identical thing in the WTI crude. In the heating oil, I'm waiting. I'd like to see pullbacks into this whole area. Wait on the cold weather. It's October 29th. It'll come. The heaters are going to go on. People are going to start spending, and this will get its bids as you get there. And the same, I think, will happen in the nat gas. Give those markets a bit of time. So no big reports tomorrow. Government still basically shut down. Once we're through with Trump, at that point, what we get to is everything attention turns back to Congress, and that's when the big time pressure comes on the congressmen. Right now, you've had this 2-day event going on of the Fed and the president's meeting, and of course, everything that President Trump has done in the Asian basin. But now, as that all comes to a head, everything turns back to America. Wouldn't surprise me if next week we see Congress finally make the decision that nobody wins. Let's get back to running the government, and we'll debate. That's what I think happens. If you want to get my reports, my updates, our charting services, you get the icons up here. Give them a click. Sign up for our free offers. We'll take it the rest of the way. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening, and I'll catch up with you all on the other updates tonight. I'm still not ready to begin yet. The morning flash update, the pills kick in the morning. I was sick this afternoon. I feel great again today, but it's just recovery process. Take care.